So welcome, let's start just by sitting comfortably. You can let your eyes gently close, or you can just let them softly stay open and just soften your gaze on something in front of you. And as we flow through this brief class, keep in mind one element of water, which is fluidity. So in this mini class, we're going to keep moving, but it's going to be ease, a lot of ease involved. So if you think of fluidity, it's easy, it flows. If there's any resistance, it just kind of gently flows over that resistance and kind of surrounds it and keeps moving. So start by noticing your physical body, and if there's any resistance or tension there. And then feel your breath, filling your belly and emptying again. So there's fluidity to the breath. It's just in and out. Nothing that's deliberately held in any way. It's fluid. And then on a subtler level, energy, emotions, just noticing if there's any resistance, something that calls your attention. And then breath suggests fluidity to energy and emotions. And if there is any rigidity, that's just an opportunity to learn. See what's present there. And then let that breath and fluidity again surround it. Loosen it up, send it on its way, maybe. So softly open your eyes. And we're going to start on hands and knees. So come to tabletop position. So knees are under hips, palms are under your shoulders. Fingers just spread a little bit. And we're going to start with a real nice isolated pelvic anterior and anterior tilt. So we're going to lift the tailbone up behind you. And then round it forward. So this is really isolated with just the pelvis. The upper back is relatively still. So just a real isolated pelvic tilt. See if you can get that anterior and posterior tilt. Just kind of loosen things up. Again, we're looking for fluidity. We want fluidity in the spine and the hips. Good. So then coming back to center, we're going to do abduction and adduction. So just dropping your hips from side to side, starting to the right, and then to the left. So just flow through that a few times with your breath. So just kind of softening the hips, stretching the glutes a little bit, getting the SI joints moving, getting them a little bit more fluid. Good. And come back to center to tabletop. Now we're just going to isolate the torso, the upper body. So dropping your chest down, lifting your chin forward. And then rounding the upper back, separating your shoulder blades. Kind of tucking your chin in and then reversing it. Chest lifts forward, face lifts forward. So isolating the upper back. And this time the pelvis is relatively still, so you can get an isolation there. Good, and then come back to tabletop position. Now we're going to do lateral stretches. So draw your left hip towards right hip towards your right shoulder, gazing over your right shoulder. So these are just lateral stretches side to side. Kind of like a dog wagging its tail in slow motion, just from side to side, stretching the side body. Breathe as you move. There's nothing serious here. Good. And then back to center. From here, we're just going to flow through, again, a real fluid movement through a very gentle, kind of a vinyasa. So send your tailbone back to your heels. We're going to start in child's pose. On an inhale, rounding cat tilt, lifting up, dropping the pelvis forward, lifting the chest, and the head lifts last. And then leading with the tailbone, bring your tailbone back to child's pose. Inhale. Inhale, rounding up cat tilt, dropping the pelvis, then lifting the chest, lifting the chin, head's the last thing to lift. And then lead with your tailbone back again to child's pose. We're going to do this 2 more times. So on the inhale, lift up, rounding in cat tilt, dropping the pelvis forward, chest opening forward, chin lifts. Beautiful. Then leading with your tailbone back to child's pose. 1 more. Come on up, inhale, round it. Drop your pelvis forward, lift your chest, chin lifts last. And then lead with your tailbone back. Child's pose. Take a breath here. Just 1. Inhale. And exhale. Come on up to downward facing dog. So pressing those palms into the floor. Lift your tailbone straight up. Pedal out your feet. Melt your heels towards the floor. They might touch, they might not touch, they might never touch. Doesn't matter, this is just direction movement. Press your palms flat into the floor, spread your fingers, distribute the weight a little bit. I see downward facing dog pose as trying on your favorite pair of jeans. Sometimes you take them out of the dryer, they're a little bit tight, but as you start to wear them, as they start to warm up, they're an old friend again and they feel great. Nothing feels like that awesome pair of your favorite jeans. Inhale, look up between your hands and just walk your feet forward. Just fold in half. Make sure your feet are about hip width apart. Knees are just slightly bent. Tailbone is lifting, spine lengthens. Let your head be heavy so the back of your neck gets a nice rest. It's holding that head up all day long. Lengthen the back of your neck. Just kind of let everything roll off your back for a moment. Nice and heavy, just like you've got that fluidity just melting off of your back, floating down your arms and dripping into the floor, all that tension. Inhale, slowly roll up to stand. Just going to make our way to mountain pose. Palms touch in front of your heart. Just starting here. Going to move through some. Well, before we do our half sun salutes, let's do half moon. So inhale, you're going to sweep those arms up. Good, relax your shoulders down. We're going to sway from side to side, starting to the right. So a tree pose that just sways back and forth. So if you think of a tree, it's got a very solid base and it has a very fluid, as the branches get smaller and it branches out into the leaves, it moves with the wind. So that's what we're kind of looking to do here. Just getting a little bit of length from side to side. Beautiful. Come back up to center. Exhale, just release your arms down to your sides. Bring your palms to your back. All right, so kind of like a standing camel here, running out of space. Roll your shoulders back. Draw your elbows towards each other. If you can, just a little bit of a back bend. Open your chest. Stretch your pecs, front of your shoulders. Throat opens, but head doesn't drop back. Just gently open the front of your throat and let your breath flow there. And come back to mountain pose. Palms touch. Now we'll flow through some half sun salutes. So inhale, just bring your arms by your sides, palms face forward. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive forward and down. Fold in half. Inhale, rise up halfway, long flat spine. Exhale, fold deep. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the side, sweep up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So one breath, one movement, that's that fluidity. Next breath in, inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward, and your dive is as long as the exhale, fold in half. Inhale, rise up halfway, flatten your spine, and fold again. Inhale, slight bend in your knees, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We've got one more. Inhale, drop your arms, sweep them up. Exhale, swan dive forward and down. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, deep fold, enjoy. And inhale, sweep your arms up. palms touch, hands come back to center, so we're back in mountain pose. Just take one breath here, one moment, just to pause and feel, and we'll move on. So palms touch in front of your heart again. It's inhale, drop your arms, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive forward and down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. You can grab your blocks here only if you need to, just for a little bit of support. Step your left leg back. Bring your arms up, high lunge. So you're on the ball of the left foot. The left heel is lifted. Nice strong quads. Just squeeze that leg nice and straight. Stabilize. Beautiful. Right knee's over the right ankle. Find some fluidity here. So it's static, yes, but it's not tense. There's no rigidity. Lengthening out of your waist. A little tiny bit of a back bend if it feels good. And then from here, we're just going to take a twist to the right. So you can drop your arms. Right hand can come back to the thigh, twisting to the right. Good. So some fluidity in that upper body. So twists shouldn't stagnate the breath. They should emphasize just assign the body. Like this feels so good. It feels good to breathe and rotate. Rotation feels so good, at least to me. Rotate back, bring that right arm back up to meet your left. Inhale, a little bit of length. Exhale, drop your hands down to either side of your front foot. Drop your left knee. We're going to reach up and stretch back. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands down. Straighten your left leg. Step it forward to meet your right. Fold in half. Beautiful. Take a moment here. Shake it out. Then we'll move on to the other side. So inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step your right leg back. Sweep your arms up. High lunge. Beautiful. Make sure shoulders relax. There's even a slight internal rotation of your arms to even lengthen more through those shoulders. Right up to your fingertips. It's not tension, it's just energy, right up to the very tips. You can reach up and stretch back a little bit if it feels good, just for more space. And then open up to the left side for a twist. Yeah, left hand can come behind you, right arm can be up. Just a rotation from your belly button up. Again, there's fluidity. There's stability at the base, there's fluidity in the upper body. Just another breath or two. Beautiful. Bring your left arm up to meet your right. Face forward again. Exhale, hands down to your blocks. Drop the right knee. Reach up and stretch back just for a little bit of a flow. And exhale, hands down. Straighten your right leg. Step it forward. Fold in half. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep up to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. Beautiful. So while we're standing here, let's practice a balancing pose. Let's do tree. So bringing your right foot up to the highest point of your left thigh. So tree pose has lots of variations, and you ladies can go right into tree. If you need variations, you can make just a kind of a little kickstand with the ball of your foot against the left ankle. You can be below the knee, or you can be in a full-on tree with your foot at the highest point of that left thigh. Arms are for expression and stability. They can be overhead, they can be out to the side, they can be in front of your heart in prayer position. So be where it feels good, meet your balance and stability. Again, trees are solid and rooted. So you've got that in the standing leg, you've got that in your core, and you've got that between your shoulder blades, which is another place where our body has a core. Right, so stability in the abdominal muscles and also between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. So as you bring your arms down, draw your right knee into your chest. Just to give it a little squeeze. And bring your right foot back to the floor. So we're back to mountain pose. Balancing again on both feet. And bring your left foot up as you're ready. Right, so you can always keep your toes propping you on the floor for balance if you need. Creep the foot up or bring it to the inner right thigh. Good. So foot presses against opposite leg, so there's counterbalance there. Core is gently engaged. The space between the shoulder blades gently engaged. And yet shoulders are relaxed down, right? So we don't ever carry tension where it's not needed. No tension in the arms, just long. There's fluidity there. Trees move in the wind. They're very flexible. Couple more breaths. Just find your own expression. And then bring your arms down. Give that left knee a little squeeze into your chest. And bring both feet to the floor. And come back to the front of your mat. Palms touch. And we're ready to move on. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, swan dive forward and down. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step back, downward facing dog. So try those jeans on again. Stretching into it. Good, so with Corey's tighter low back, she's got nicely bent knees. Erin's got a beautiful full downward facing dog pose here. So from here, come onto your knees. And we're just going to transfer to laying on the ground. So come to seated and then roll onto your back. And hug your knees into your chest. Do a little circling around so you just kind of give yourself a self-massage on your sacrum and low back. You can go up and down the length of your spine a couple of times if that feels good. Good. Now keep your right knee into your chest and straighten your left leg down to the floor. So left leg's foot slightly flexed because you want a little bit of an anchor because we're going to flow here. But for the moment, just gently hugging in that right knee. You can even do little teeny micro bounces that just kind of helps it loosen up a little bit, or even little micro circles. So we're waking the hip up. This is a relax, it's kind of melting the knee in, or melting the hip rather than forcing anything. So we're inviting it open, we're inviting the stretch. We're inviting our hip to explore its range. So from here, you're going to bring your left hand to your left hip press. Your right hand is going to stay on your knee. And then just draw that right leg laterally open to the right side. So this is an external rotation of the hip. So feeling this in the inner right thigh. And then bring the knee back up, grab it with your left hand and draw it across for an easy twist. So we're actually going to make this a little bit of a flow and flow through it a couple of times. So let's reverse it. Bring the knee up, grab it with your right hand, draw it across. So we don't want too much lift in the left hip. We want this to be a real nice, beautiful inner thigh stretch. And reverse it. Come on up, draw across, rest into the twist just for a couple of breaths. Beautiful. Do it again. Bring it up. Right hand grabs the knee. Bring it across. Just for a breath. We don't want to miss that beautiful stretch. Bring it up again. Across for the twist. Couple of nice breaths here. Again, give your knee a little bit of a squeeze. Straighten the legs to the floor. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. So a nice long, good morning stretch. And then bring your arms up, grab your left leg, pull your left knee to your chest. Just maybe a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a circle. So you're kind of just waking up the hip, inviting it open again, It might feel a little bit different from the other. It might have a different opinion than the other side. So let's start that flow. Bring your right hand to your hip. Left hand draws the left leg open to the left for an inner thigh stretch. See how this feels. Is it different? Does your range feel different? Bring it up. Draw it across. Grab with your right hand. Come into a twist. Just briefly. We're going to flow through this a few more times. Good. So bring the knee back up. Grab it with your left hand. Draw it open to the side for that inner thigh stretch. Breath or two here. Beautiful. And bring it back up. Draw it across for a twist. Beautiful. And up again. Open it up to the side. Couple of breaths. Good. Up again. And we're just going to finish with that last twist. Good. And come on back. Hug your knee into your chest. Straighten your legs back down to the floor. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Another good morning stretch. And exhale, both hands, both knees to your chest. Little rolling around on your sacrum if you like. Or up and down the length of your spine. Enjoy the pause. And then from here, let's do happy baby. So you're going to draw your knees in. You're going to grab the outside edges of your feet. And you're going to draw your knees kind of towards the floor. If you can't quite get to the outside edges of your feet, you could grab your ankles. Or you could even just bring your hands behind your knees or thighs like this. Beautiful. So happy baby pose. I've heard it called dead bug pose. I think happy baby is a little more positive and fun. You can even sway back and forth just like a happy baby would do. And then just straighten the legs straight up, just for a little bit of an inversion, nothing crazy. So you could bring a block underneath your sacrum for comfort, and then lift those legs up. You can point and flex your feet or rotate your ankles if that feels good. Whatever works for you. Get a little stretch, little inversion. Linger here as long as you like, of course, if you're doing a home practice. Otherwise, bring your knees in. Let's get rid of the block. So lift up, remove your block carefully and safely, of course. And lay on your back. We're going to end in Shavasana, the pose of all poses. So resting comfortably, let the weight of your body completely surrender to gravity. So your body feels heavy. Breath is fluid, there's no control on the breath. In and out with ease. Back body being cradled by the ground. The front body relaxing into space and air. Feeling the whole body completely relaxed and deeply resting. There is nothing else to do. into the feel of your body. Start to move your fingers and toes, maybe deepen your breath. Hug your knees in and roll to the side. And back up to seated. Take a final pause to feel. Feel the body. Notice if there's space, a little more fluidity in movement, and fluidity in the breath, and hopefully ease in those more subtler energetic levels, energy and emotions. So taking your practice, appreciate yourself for your practice and each other as we practice together. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Let's end with an Om together for this last breath of class. Inhale. Om Shanti. Namaste. Thanks for joining us.